Hola, soy Leika. Today I'm going on a quest to Sunshine City. Do you want to come with me? Great! Vámonos! Let's go! Hola, Boots. Do you want to join me? I'm learning about philosophy.
Yup, let's go!
Look, Boots. Estamos en Sunshine City. We're in Sunshine City with all kinds of surprises. Let's look around. So far, the things I know about philosophy are...
It begins with awe and wonder. Our thinking is always geared towards the truth, and that it is the love of wisdom.
How about you, Boots? Do you know the difference between knowledge and wisdom?
Wisdom is a state or condition, and it needs knowledge in order to deepen or intensify its points, while knowledge is measured and accumulated. It has to be processed and integrated into man's life.
That's right, Boots. Now let's begin our quest. But first, where do we go? Our first location is St. James Church. Oh, here's our first clue. What is philosophy?
The qualities of philosophy are: it is a human activity, it is a social activity, it is a perennial, it is a disinterested search, it is a search for intelligible structures, and it is a totality of being.
Wow, that's a lot of qualities. So you're saying a world without man is nothing for a man?
That's right. Now let's figure out the branches of philosophy.
Oh, I know what they are. Epistemology, metaphysics, ethics, logics, and aesthetics.
Before we figure out where the next location is, we need to know why Greece is the cradle of philosophy.
Do you think we can ask Socrates for help? Let's go!
Socrates, why was Greece considered the cradle of philosophy?
It was considered the cradle of philosophy for these four reasons. First, because of its fruitful engagement with other countries. Second, because of their fertile imagination. Third, because they were the center of trade. And lastly, because of the socio-economic structure of Greece. They had the luxury of time to think.
Thanks, Socrates. Now that we understand philosophy's branches, qualities, and why it's the center of trade, we can now go to our next location.
For you to get your next clue, first you have to figure out who the four Ionian philosophers are.
But how are we supposed to do that?
I think there are hints about them around us.
But do you think they are elements?
Yeah, fire, water, wind, and...
A pairon, something that is unlimited and unidentified.
So the four philosophers are Thales of Miletus, Anaximander, Anaximenes, and Heraclitus.
That's right. Now you have to differentiate empiricism and rationalism. My hint for you is that one involves reason and the other involves experience.
From the word experience, I guess empiricism means that all concepts originate from experience, while rationalism believes that action should be based on reason or knowledge.
Good job, Leika. Now you're ready for your next location. Ooh, what makes you come here? I have a question for the two of you. Does God will something because it is good, or is something good because God wills it?
If God wills something because it is good, this means that goodness is a standard for morality, that gods adhere to and hence love it. However, it makes morality completely arbitrary on God's will or commands.
For the second horn, is something good because God wills it? This says that all moral obligations stem from what God commands. However, no action is necessarily moral.
That's right. Now you can move on to your next location.
Logic. Logic is the language of philosophy.
Here are some logic concepts. Proposition, the meaning or information content of a statement. Argument, the group of propositions of which one the conclusion is claimed to follow from the others, which are premises. Sentence, it means premise, it should be a declarative sentence, and its premise indicators because, since, according to. Lastly, inference, a process by which one proposition is arrived at and affirmed on the basis of one or more other propositions accepted as the starting point of the process.
Ooh, what about this?
A
categorical syllogism is an argument consisting of exactly three categorical propositions in which there appear a total of exactly three categorical terms, each of which is used exactly twice. There are four components of a categorical proposition. First is the subject term that which the proposition is about. Second, the predicate term that which is related by the proposition to the subject term. Third, the quality or copula, which is the relation of inclusion or exclusion that is determined by affirmative or negative. And fourth is the quantity, which is the proportion of the subject term which the proposition makes a claim with universal and particular. Below is an example of each component.
Muy bien! What about these?
What makes up a form are four components plus four moods plus four figures. The types of propositions or moods are the A, E, I, O. The A proposition is the universal affirmative, the E proposition is the universal negative, the I proposition is the particular affirmative, and the O proposition is the particular negative. Here's an example. All soldiers are patriots. This is an A proposition and it is the major premise. No traitors are patriots. This is an E proposition and this is the minor premise. Therefore, no traitors are soldiers. This is an E proposition and it is the conclusion. So from that, we learn that soldiers are the major term, patriots are the middle term, and traitors are the minor term. It is arranged in standard form.
Oh, last three, let's go!
Validity and invalidity. The individual form of a syllogism consists of two factors: mood, the letter names of the propositions, and figure, determined by the location of the two occurrences of the middle term in the premises. This can be checked through figures. As you can see, there's the first, second, and third, and fourth. Muy bien! What a comprehensive discussion! Are you still up for the challenge?
For sure! What about you guys? Yay! Let's go!
Now, we move on to the application of truth and validity.
What's that?
Truth refers to statement proposition. Truth and falsehood, on the other hand, are attributes of individual propositions, while validity refers to argument. Therefore, validity can never apply to any single proposition by itself, because the needed relation cannot be possibly found within any one proposition.
And here are the conditions of a valid and invalid argument.
If the premises are all true and the argument is valid, you can never have a false conclusion. Moving on, the logical operators are as follows.
With that, the main logical operator can be identified as the operator that has its scope over everything else in the statement. If there are no parentheses, the main operator will be the only operator. If there is a parenthesis, brackets or braces in the statement, the main operator will be the operator that lies outside all these parentheses, brackets, and braces. If there is more than one such operator, the main operator will be the one that is not a tilde.
Now we can apply this through truth tables!
Truth tables are a way to test the validity of an argument. They are useful tools for determining validity of arguments because they specify the truth value of every premise in every possible case. The steps are: 1. Transform the argument into symbolic form, 2. Find the number of rows through the number of variable statements, and 3. Construct the table by labeling each column with the variables, then the premises and conclusion. To identify whether it is true or false, you can identify it through the different symbols: negation, conjunction, disjunction, and conditional.
Let's apply these into an example. If you are healthy, then you eat apples. You don't eat apples, therefore you aren't healthy. The variables needed for this argument are A, which stands for you eat apples, and H, which stands for you are healthy. In symbolic form, the first premise makes use of an arrow to represent a conditional statement. The second premise makes use of a tilde to represent a negation, and the conclusion also makes use of a tilde to represent a negation. To identify the number of rows, we count the number of variables with base 2, therefore 2 raised to 2 equals 4 rows. Now we can plot the variables and the premise in the table. Given the rules of the logical operators, we can conclude that this argument is valid with it having a true value.
You've reached your final destination. There are clues around you about the last few things you need to know about philosophy.
Oh, I know these people. They are famous philosophers.
Do you know what they proposed?
I'm pretty sure Plato said that there are two realities, and Aristotle said that we use our senses in order to understand things.
Descartes also said that we use our senses to understand things.
Can you say Descartes? Muy bien! Descartes was also the one who proposed a theory about the radical doubt, which is also to doubt everything, even the slightest of things. There's this other philosopher, Gilbert Ryle. He said that there was a category mistake in Descartes' dualism. He even committed strawman fallacy. An example of behaviorism is when you smile, then your mind realizes that you're happy. And functionalism happens in the brain before an action actually happens.
Muy bien! You finished your quest through Sunshine City. Now, do you know what philosophy is all about?
See, thank you, Socrates. You're indeed the wisest of them all.